for illumined life to be birthed into form. I am the truth. I am the light. Illumine, beloved divine.
So hello there everyone, and happy holidays from me here today. Whew, wow, what a year it has been, hasn't it? So I just wanted to pop up briefly here to wish you a Merry Christmas and of course a Happy New Year. We are right before a very huge pivotal new decade, so we're not just ending this another year, right? We're ending the whole decade. For me personally, this has been a 9 universal year in my experience, so it has been very difficult, and it's been basically the most difficult year in my entire life. So you've probably noticed I wasn't online much. I wasn't very active on social media. I didn't record many videos. I was only active on my work page, which is called Ascension on Patreon. And the rest of my year was actually all inner work. And I've been diving very deep into this Christed union and Illumined union, and I've been sharing all my steps along the way. So this path has been paved, for now. And there's an experience and the toughest initiation I've ever had in my life, and what I needed to move through in order to get to the other side. And I've only been able to talk about it on Patreon because it's just been so deep, and I'm still not ready to fully talk about it perhaps in this new year, in this new decade, right? I'm going to talk about it because it's a very important thing for many people that are still in the experience in their own way. So I'm still in somehow this recovery mode and integration mode, and I'm still processing a lot, so it won't be anytime soon, but when I'm ready I'll talk about it. So how have you guys been doing? I've heard that so many people have had a very difficult year, this year, that it was a tremendous breaking point in a way. So throughout this year we've talked about in my work page about the liberation of the goddess. This was the theme of this year, and now we're entering into this 4 universal year, which will be more about building blocks and structure from what we have managed to liberate. So the creation we're entering into now at this time is not a creation that is something new, but it's almost like we've paved the way. The structure has been made, but we just haven't fully jumped into it yet. So for the most part of the year, it has felt very unknown to us. It's been very unknown, and we had to let go some of the very difficult associations we had about ourselves, ideas about the world and others, and we weren't even able to move into these new things, new experiences, before breaking off or breaking up with certain things in our lives and identities we give to ourselves, even what we call the mission and all of that. At the end of it, there's this journey of the beautiful human self, which is the Christ in the making, this illumined child that we're birthing, each in our own. And me coming here as a sovereign being, as an illumined being, I had to walk quite a difficult path in my earthly human life. And to be honest, I never thought my life was going to get that difficult. I thought, wow, I'm doing so great, and now here I am with all this turmoil. What is this all about? And in truth, this path has been predetermined by me. It's been put into initiative by me. It's been my spirit that has, in its bravery and courage, determined this path, and it's simply a path I had to walk. And as you know, all initiations are walked alone. We are in togetherness. We are all sharing this beautiful planet. We share many things in the cosmos, not just on this planet. The heart of God is universal for all, the heart of our Creator. And the way we tune into the Christ of flame is very unique for us. That's why it's so important that we understand that a certain threshold needs to be crossed on our own. And so we, at this final breaking point, we need to summon up all of our courage, our fierce devotion, and the kind of faith perhaps we never imagined ourselves that we would need to conjure up somehow. And when it feels that void, of course, and you don't know which way to go, and you somehow are unaware of where your path is leading you next, sometimes you need to allow your ship to sink, in order to be rescued by perhaps another ship or a fellow traveler or something like that. And I've just recently had a vision about this. And we don't always like to feel how it is to just fall to that which we call the rock bottom, or the end of the pit, and that experience which we somehow always, we want to levitate a bit off the ground until the final point, as long as we don't have that final breaking point. But for the journey of the Christ, that is ultimately important, and that is the path that we need to take. And I know it sounds kind of archetypal, but those of you who are on this path and perhaps walking towards this step of the journey, you will understand what I mean, because we each will decipher through our own spirit the words in our own making, and we will create of them what we are intended to create in this lifetime. So if you feel in any way inclined to step deeper into what we call a lumen union and the embodiment of the Christ, this entire path of mine has been set up for this. It has been predetermined, and that's why it in a way was so challenging and that difficult, because no path of the light is ever walked in the absence of challenge. So that's what it is, and the focus needs to be at this time on what's coming next, instead of what was and what didn't work out. And we've all had our firm grip on certain things that we thought were real, perhaps were not, because it's illusions of this world that are keeping us, that are blocking us from getting new perspectives and setting out on new courses and moving on to new pathways. Because illusions are like these loopholes that we have that we're unaware that we actually have, and that's why we're kind of preventing ourselves from these new experiences. So the journey of the Christ, therefore, in our own embodiment and how we bring this light into our bodies in constant communion with the divine is so important. And it has nothing to do with any kind of religion or new age or belief systems. They're all in a way a barrier towards what is our own intimate inner connection. And once we liberate ourselves and our bodies, and that's what we're doing, we're liberating the body, because the body is the sacred child of the Christ. And in that process, a lot of things that come our way were unintended, or we perhaps think they were not intended. And we freak out and we get afraid and we think, well, we're not on the right path, obviously, because it's all blocked. But in truth, none of these things would be happening, if there wasn't a silver lining to it. And there's not something that once we break through it, once we break into it, would be waiting for us on the other side, and that would already be created by our spirit. It already is there. It's a creation that already exists. But in our own making, as the cosmic Christ becoming here on earth, as humans, in our human dwellings here, is kind of like an uncharted territory where we don't know always how to walk. But sometimes our journey will lead us into that path when we say, I just don't know, or this path is leading me next. I've done these things, they no longer work, or they're no longer for me, or I've outgrew them, and I just don't know. And that's not the only part, that's one path, one part of the path. The other path is to realize who are the real saboteurs, who are the real points of, what we call the false illusory aspects and identities and even beings in our lives that we don't always see. And that's something I want to talk about in the new year, which is to come, which is very important. So do expect that from me. But until the meantime, I really want to wish you from the bottom of my heart most sincerest wishes for this beautiful holiday time. Take some time just for yourself to just sit with the presence of what we call the divine creator, God, source, primordial spark of life, the original prime life force. You can call it the force, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Father, Mother, God, it's all an origin of us and the origin of our life. So once we connect to that, and not only connect, but sit in that space, in that dwelling, make it our daily, not our routine, but our daily sacred devotion, then we might notice a lot of change in our life just from that inner work, just from sitting with the divine and allowing ourselves to be nested in that space. So that's a perfect time as always for that. If you're very interested and you want to travel this path and go deeper into the abyss with me together and fellow group, you're always welcome to join my Patreon page, which is called the Lumen Ascension. And until then, I want to share my final gift and offering for the rest of this year, what's left with it, not a whole lot. I have a special offer, and I wasn't able to talk about it before because I somehow wasn't physically able to. But it still stands, and it's for this holiday time until New Year. I have an offer that if you still feel called to purchase any one of my courses as also an investment into yourself, as a gift to yourself, you will get an extra free course, additionally So if you've been thinking about the courses, pondering, but it was never the right time, now probably is the right time, because you're going to get an additional free course along with it. That's just something Spirit guided me to do, and it's an extension of my Christmas spirit, a spirit of gratitude, of grace, of divine love. And basically that's all that truly matters, is for us to become the ultimate expression of divine love. So we might all hold knowledge, and there's trajectories that are very important for us when we're doing that final outlining, you know. But at the end, it's love. It's that love and becoming that love and aligned with it wholeheartedly at all times, absolutely, that will create the manifestation of everything that we were designed and destined to become as the cosmic Christ in human form. So, my sweet beloveds, that's available. So it is what it is. You will get an additional free course chosen by Spirit through me. And until then, please have a merry, whatever it is for you, whatever you enjoy doing the most, and enjoying the resurrection of your inner spark as it continues to dwell on this planet and just become more of its true self every day, every now moment, and in absolute totality of your wholeness and completion. Affirm that you are the grace of the divine, and you are the light of Christ. You are the sacred flame of love. And that's my wish for everyone, for all. And until New Year, I will see you, and as always, with great wisdom, love, and power. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.